my name is Jeremy Creer, and to my left I have Roy Hetzel.
Hey.
Here at Best Intentions, we like to keep you updated on the most important and famous faces of the Hampton Roads area. I recently had the pleasure of interviewing Professor Kenny Anderson of Hampton University's radio station, WHOV.
And we heard some really good stuff from that, Jeremy. What all went down?
Oh, well, I got to walk in, I got to meet the most important faces who run it there, I got some interviews and learned everything you need to know if you want to get into radio. We're about to play that clip, and for everybody watching, make sure you stay tuned.
Basic Radio 101, man, the fundamentals of broadcasting, how to properly do an on-air break, just rules of broadcasting, not talking over music that has lyrics in it, knowing where you are on your board, and how to just structure and produce a radio show. See, radio is one of those things, man, because the people that you hear make it seem easy, then everybody thinks they can do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I give people the example of Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Yeah.
You know, people don't realize that he has a 4 or 6 man team that you don't hear or see that's getting him international stories, national stories, gossip, you know, making sure he's staying on his clock doing giveaways and so forth.
Yeah.
So those fundamental skills, you know, if you're able to relate those and teach those to people, you can build your brand because it keeps everything universal and it keeps it routine.
Perfect. I'm a student currently going to school to learn radio. Do you think personally, like I'm somebody who has little experience but I'm willing to learn, what sets you aside that you can teach me how to do all of this and be good at it?
You know, for one of the main things I've been doing radio for coming up on 15 years, and a lot of the people that I learned radio from were schooled in that old radio frame of thought, knowing more than your listener. The illusion of enormity, how to speak to your people, not speak to them and not at them. And you can basically take somebody who has a little bit of confidence and through several exercises build their confidence. Just think about this. You've ever had your voice recorded before?
Yes.
When you played it back, did you like what you heard?
It was kind of a shock at first, but I believe I can get used to it, yeah.
Okay, so that's one of the initial exercises that I do with all my students. Is make them record themselves, and then we sit back and listen to it. So I can tell that their posture and how they move, if they like it or if they don't like it. Once you get over that hump, you become more confident. Another example I use is if we going out to a party, and we see some young ladies that we like, you're not going to approach the young lady trying to get her attention and her phone number, dragging your feet and putting your head down, not making eye contact. Why?
Because women love confidence.
That's what you need to be in radio. You need to be confident. I tell the students, if you don't like your voice, you don't like yourself.
Yeah.
It's different from being confident and cocky, but you have to be your biggest fan. And so, you know, most folks who do radio, man, they got huge egos. It's just how it's, you know, it's set out to people. It's the determining factor.
Definitely. Works out perfectly. I believe that I could be one of those people who are like motivated and have enough self-confidence that I don't like branch out too much in my ego. Like I'm not all about myself, but like people will hear it and know it. Can you elaborate more with you said earlier, I'm starting to blank out. Can you elaborate more on knowing more than your listener?
Okay, so when I say know more than your listener, like I mentioned earlier, that doesn't mean you need to have a perfect score on the SAT, 4.0 grade point average, but just know what was just being played and what's coming up in the future. And if you can do that, that gives you a leg up on your listeners. It's just like if we're doing a show when it's the 1 o'clock hour, and we just tell them what they heard and what's coming up. They know what they heard, or if they didn't know what they heard, you know, we're giving them some information, so that's knowing more than your listener. They definitely don't know what's coming up, so you're giving them some information that way. If you're giving them weather, if you're giving them traffic, just little pieces of mind candy to get them thinking. Because, you know, to work in radio, you have to have an imagination. You figure, when we sit in this room behind this microphone right here, we're speaking to thousands of people, but we're the only person in here. So you have to have those mental games to prepare yourself to relate and talk to people.
Exactly, and that'll make you a better broadcaster because you're already ready for it. You know what you're going to do. You're not trying to think of stuff on the spot. You're not like all anxious and uncomfortable.
Exactly, you're right.
Definitely perfect. Well, I think we're coming up on the time limit now, but I thank you for letting me interview you.
No problem, boss, no problem.
We saw some really good stuff from that interview, Jeremy. Thanks for that. I also went to school this week. I went to the Chesapeake campus of Tidewater Community College.
Oh no, I heard they just added a whole bunch of new stuff over there.
You better believe it, Jeremy. They got some awesome stuff set up for students over there. They have all sorts of sports facilities, gaming facilities, and just a general relaxation place for students there at Tidewater.
Huh, well, we're going to check that clip out. We'll be right back.
All right, so we're here at the Student Center, here to talk to Vince. I'm going to ask him a simple question. How did all of this start?
All right, so how did it start? My relationship with Wellness One started, I want to say again, I was just a regular old member. I was just a dude that would come in and lift some weights and you know, work out, go home, enjoy my time, and that was really it. I got an opportunity to teach PE classes or weight training classes from the former provost at the campus, Dr. Linda Rice. She said, you know, Vince, you know, you got a certification in personal training. Do you want to teach some PE classes? Yeah, you're going to pay me for something that I would do for free? Sure. Yeah, not a big deal, man. I'll do it. And so I moved around a little bit. It was, you know, I'd done a couple semesters over at the Great Bridge Rec Center. I did a semester over at Fitness 19, but Wellness One was my home. Wellness One was my home there. Had an opportunity to go to Wellness One and teach my classes out of there. And then when Mark and Loretta took ownership of the gym, it really was a wonderful opportunity for me. They were really good to me in allowing me to teach the classes there, and really only charging the students a very nominal fee, nothing outrageous or anything like that, to use the facility. And it was a beautiful relationship, and it was something I was very blessed to do, to have an opportunity to go over there and teach. I think as far as my certifications go to teach, the ones I'm proudest of, I mean, I was a personal fitness trainer through AAAI, based out of my time when I worked at Temple University. When I got back here, I still had those credentials, but there was a summer, I want to say it may have been summer of 2010 or 09, somewhere in that ballpark. I had a student who was, at the time, I want to say he was an active duty Navy member, and had a twin brother who was an active duty SEAL. His name was Dean Love. Dean was a shorter guy. He wasn't a little guy, but he was a short man. But Dean was infectious. Dean was a really, really, really good guy. And he turned me on to something called CrossFit. He turned me on to a different style of workout than what I was used to. And he kicked my butt. You know what I mean? So it was almost like he could have taught the class, but he didn't. But he showed me some things, and, you know, I just kind of instantly fell in love with it. It was competitive. It was challenging, competitive, and it was still fun at the same time. And obviously it was a really good workout, but it was just something like, wow, light bulb, man. Light bulb came on. And then I had an opportunity to expose it to Mark. You know, one day I'm in the weight room over at Wellness. Mark Richardson, who's the co-owner of Wellness One, sees me doing some stuff, and, you know, was like, hey, come on, let's do this workout together. So we did a workout called Angie. And Angie was 100 push-ups, 100 pull-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups for time. And I want to say Mark gets through like half of it, and his face is beet red, cold sweat, the whole 9 yards, man. And you would think for something like that, he maybe kicked me out the gym, but he fell in love with it. He really fell in love with it. And then from there, it was kind of, that led to them opening up CrossFit Great Bridge. I think it was from that experience that he had with it that he did more research into what CrossFit was. and he ends up going to get his level 1 certification. Loretta gets her level 1 certification. They open up CrossFit Great Bridge inside of Wellness One, and from there, man, it just kind of took everything that they did, and I know everything that I had an opportunity to do to the next level. And that relationship has really just been a blessing to me and to my family. Wellness One has really become like my home away from home. You know, again, my wife will tell you that you know, maybe spend more time. It's pretty close. You spend more time at the gym than you do at home. But my family works out there. My kids go to the daycare over there. You know, when we're working out, you know, we spend time together outside of the gym environment. So I mean, it's a really good personal relationship. I really do appreciate, you know, what they've done for me personally. You know, and then again, the opportunity professionally to expand a little bit, and just have a chance to connect with students. It's really nothing more enjoyable to see. Straight up, to see students that you get a chance to teach, you get a chance to share with. I wouldn't even necessarily call it teaching. It's really more sharing. You know what I mean? I think there are people with far greater academic credentials who earn the right to call themselves teachers versus what I do. What I do is just fun. What I do is really fun, and it's a blessing for me to be able to do that. It's like an act of worship. So I get to go work out and share it with some folks, show them some things that too, and to see, you know, you maybe each semester get a handful of students who stay, who you know, fall in love with CrossFit or fall in love with Wellness One, who just really fall in love with being healthy. You know, that's fun. That's a good look, and that in and of itself is worth the work. I ain't saying I'm gonna get my checkup, but I mean it's worth the work in and of itself right there doing that. So it's good for me.
All right. My husband and I own Wellness One Fitness, CrossFit Great Bridge down the road. We're affiliated with Tidewater Community College for the past about 10 years now, where we teach, not necessarily me, but other instructors, teach some Pilates, yoga classes to help accommodate students and their fitness levels for the college. I personally, over at Wellness One Fitness, train individuals, and I teach health classes for the college. And in addition, I coach CrossFit Great Bridge kids and teens and the beginner program. My husband, Mark Richardson, runs PED 111 and 112, along with Vince Gary over there. So the reason why we do what we do, both my husband and I, is because we've always had a passion for fitness, always been into exercising and fairly eating healthy. I currently hold a degree in personal training, group fitness. I have a degree in nutrition through the ADA, and I'm a registered nurse. During my nursing degree and career through the military, I realized I was taking care of people who were my age or younger that should have really, if they just took care of themselves better, would be avoiding all those medications they were on or the complications they were having. So with that, we decided to pursue our own business in fitness and opened up the gym.
Thank you all for watching this week's Best Intentions.
We had a lot of good stuff going on this week. Jeremy, what do we have in store for next week?
Well, next week we're going to be having more interviews with important celebrities from the Hampton Roads area and also some student interviews.
Sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you for tuning in. You can find all of this and more at undergraduatepress.com. Until next time.